Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I'd like to showcase this podcast, this YouTube channel. This is High Intensity Health. This is Mike Mitzel, and his guest today is Dr. Gabrielle Lyon, DO. She is a scientist. She has done research on protein synthesis and by mouse model for years, and she comes out of the lab. She was trained by Dr. Donald Lyon about 20 years ago. She is a doctor of osteopath, so she is a licensed physician. And she talks about, on this podcast, a lot of interesting things. I'll link a card. But basically, she talks about a lot of different mTOR. She talks about muscle muscle protein synthesis, and she talks about body composition. She talks about weight training. She talks about protein, and she talks about the need for ample amount of protein in our diet for not only weight loss but muscle building and as we age. It's a very interesting hypothesis that she presents, her theory. All talking heads, all scientists, all doctors have their own hypothesis and their own agenda and their own reason for maybe their vested interest, and maybe they are being sponsored or they want to bolster their career. But whatever the case may be, it brings us data. It brings us scientific data that we can filter out and see if it applies to our own personal lifestyle and our own genetics and what the path that we are going to. So I'm going to link a card, but this is very interesting.
So actually the mouse models that they're using are obese models. So
obese
that really
models
doesn't correlate to human longevity, being fit. They're totally different. So these are obese rats that are already at risk for, their excess calories. They're all at risk for cancer, right? So It's not the same. The concept that mTOR signaling causes cancer, there's mTOR in every cell. And when it comes to muscle, the leucine that stimulates mTOR is really targeted for muscle protein synthesis.
You lose a lot of muscle in bariatric surgery, probably the first year.
Leads to cancer. The mTOR
obese people usually don't have a lot of muscle anyway.
Excess calories and excess carbohydrates and multiple meals.
So we lose fat.
So when you have muscle protein synthesis, mTOR signaling, it's a burst and then it's done. It's not this chronic, continuous mTOR signaling that happens.
Right.
So there's really no validity when it comes to protein causing cancer.
So to kind of summarize, we have mTOR, muscle protein synthesis. That's a little bit more specific to like the muscle tissue. And if we're talking about like cancer, maybe within the breast tissue or the brain or whatever, that would be more specific to that different cell type. And leucine, insulin mediated, not leucine mediated.
Right.
Okay.
I would say that's
I say she's in her late 30s.
Wow, that's good for what we're talking about, right? So as long as we're not, overeating, like you mentioned in the animal model study, we're having too many carbohydrates and driving insulin
carbohydrates.
Exactly.
Bariatric patients love them.
Carbohydrates and this just chronic stimulations, the chronic feeding, the grazing of carbohydrates throughout the day.
Yeah.
Grazing.
I don't recommend snacking. I recommend people allow, if you feed every 4 hours, the muscle resets and get another opportunity to stimulate it. But with chronic feeding, small snacking throughout the day, then you're stimulating mTOR, right? If you're spiking your insulin, you're having a high carbohydrate load, that's like the worst thing you can do.
Brilliant. So it's really good to like
carbohydrates and fats make you fat.
3 or 4 hours, like you're saying.
Yeah. Probably even pushing 4 to 5. Which, you just have to really be careful and think about how, what is your metabolic goal? So when I see my patients, the first thing I ask them is, what is your metabolic goal? Do you want to build muscle? Do you want to lose weight? Where are you at? And if they want to build muscle, then that's a different plan than if they really want to lose weight while maintaining their lean tissue. Time restricted feeding works really well for those people.
And if they want to build muscle, might cram in another meal or so in there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But still not trying to snack. So you at least get 3 hours.
That's what I did. and if you go back and look at my videos, I did my bariatric diet for 2 years. And then I started to train, right? I didn't train hard for the first year because I was concentrating on weight loss. If you can see, I got down to my lowest twice. Yeah, and it was slow. I'm a slow weight loss person. Didn't lose it fast. I had some big legs, what you call bottom heavy, and they wound up being normal. And I was actually real happy on my outcomes. But there was my outcomes when I was triathlete. I was doughy, doughy and obese. Not morbid obese, but I was BMI of 30. I didn't feel very good at all. So that's why I had bariatric surgery, because I was caught in a conundrum of obesity, of hormonal shitstorm. But luckily, I was able to get out of that. Now, I've gained a total of 15 pounds. I can never get the 10 pounds off, but I've gained 10 pounds over the summer because I haven't done everything that's 100% right, because I've been just living life, as you call it. So this was the back of me. Doughy. But this was Iron Man. I was Iron Man strong. So I'm going to link this card.
I think you highlighted a couple
because it might give you some nuggets.
Is going to keep.
Yes, definitely. And snacking isn't great for anybody. From my perspective and from what I believe and what people really
I got to get back on the bike.
Is the whole concept of protein.
Get back on the bike.
Because
this is where I gain it.
The whole concept of how we think about protein,
right here,
how
not
much
this
is wrong.
Right?
I mean,
not
you
there.
should be eating around 150
there.
grams a day.
I'm woman. I'm all woman, right?
For you, I would say you need 150 grams of protein as you mature. My dad, who is 70, he's eating 150 grams of protein a day. That guy does not slow down.
That's awesome.
Because it's protective, and we are not moving the way that we used to.
I don't have no boy body.
We used to be so physically active, so we used to be stimulating our muscle more. So actually,
I still had curves when I was down to my lowest. BMI of 24.
You have to get the dose right. It's not a percentage of calories. The lower your calories are, the higher your protein needs to be.
And can you explain that a little bit? Because people might not understand.
Yeah. When you think about managing your caloric intake,
so I got to get back on this bike, right? Getting back on the bike. I'm doing the bike. I'm doing my exercises, 2 hours of exercise daily. Doing the bike, doing the spin again for the winter, because everything changes in the winter, right?
And B, how are you protecting your muscle? You have to eat protein to protect your muscle.
Wow.
So really, you can lower your carbohydrates, you can adjust your fat. One thing I never do is I never try to cheat protein. I mean, it's so important. And the
60 to 80 grams is what I've been. I've been in low protein when I was non-animal. Hair all fell out.
Things that really affect people's health.
Yeah.
So my fellowship was in nutrition.
Yeah, I had no hair when I was vegan. I shouldn't even say I was vegan because I didn't do it for the animals. I did it for health. Here you go, no hair. Look at that witch's chin.
And through
I was all bones.
Yo-yo dieting, low protein. They're
up top, not on the booty. On the booty.
And it's totally preventative.
I didn't need no BBL.
And you have all these myths that protein causes cancer, protein is bad for the bone, protein is bad for the kidney.
Yeah, what's up with that last one, the kidney? Where's
if you have a compromised kidney,
so anyway,
the load of the
I'll link a card.
High, but if you're healthy,
I'll see you in the next video.
GFR. And for